Bertemu kembali, komuniti Muslim dunia ketika ini berada pada sekitar 2.1 bilion orang dengan pasaran halal sekitar 2.3 trilion dolar. Hujung tahun ini, Minggu Halal Dunia yang akan bermula esok akan dianjurkan bersama oleh 3 badan utama termasuk Madrid, Perbadanan Pembangunan Halal HDC dan IHI Alliance. Tahun ini temanya adalah ekonomi halal, membina momentum, dan bersama kita di studio untuk membincangkan Minggu Halal Sedunia adalah Naib Presiden Operasi HDC Nurhariti Jalil. Hi, thank you for joining us today. First of all, let's talk about some of the key points because I know that the World Halal Week will be divided into two parts, which is one, the exhibition, and the second one would be the conference, right? So what are the key points that will be discussed during this conference?
Thank you very much for inviting us to Awani. Yes, Minggu Halal Malaysia, World Halal Week, 2013 is starting tomorrow in KLCC. And it has two components, the showcase, which is Mihas, and of course the conference. Now, under this conference, we are inviting speakers and panelists from around the world. We've got 8 coming from Europe, US, and UAE, together with our local MNCs and also our local players. We will be discussing matters regarding on how we want to create the momentum for halal, driving the halal economy with specific matters that everybody agrees upon in terms of our practices, our approach. So there are a lot of sharing of stories, success stories from the world and also from our locals, since Malaysia is the global halal hub right now. And these issues will be discussed surrounding the innovation within the halal industry itself. So there are a lot of approaches, practices that we want to share with the rest of the world so that they can go back to their own countries and hopefully innovate themselves and create the momentum in their respective countries and areas of practices so that we can participate inside the 2.3 trillion USD halal market.
Yeah. I think one of the interesting things that you mentioned just now, which is the theme, right, which is halal economy. Instead of halal products, we're looking at halal economy. Let's talk about halal economy and the vastness of it, because I think we're not just talking about products, we're talking about services, and we're talking about other components as well, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think it's about time that we look beyond just creating halal product, but practicing Islamic values into the practices in terms of services that we're having. So during the session, the conference starting tomorrow, we'll be sharing some of the key success stories in healthcare, pharmaceutical, tourism, and they will be sharing how services are coming on board, latching on to halal economy. And at the same time, we are inviting speakers who will be talking about the integration or the coming together of Islamic finance into the halal platform. So this would then somehow create the proper halal ecosystem for us to bring halal products from product to customers on a full value chain of halal.
I have 2 questions. One, which is, because we're talking about halal products and halal economy, would these also maybe apply to non-Muslim dominated countries such as China, Japan, and also South Korea? Because I think we see demands for halal tourism or halal for Muslims traveling to South Korea, Japan, and China increasing. And also, let's just look at that question first. Would it also apply to them?
Well, I suppose it's a necessity. You know, we are embracing globalization. It's not about just going to Muslim country for halal food, but we are also looking into other parts of the world where Islam is not the main practice, but they are Muslim communities there anyway, and they are creating services like Islamic tourism over there. And certainly those people who have interest to those countries would want to have access to halal food and products. So I think the point that they would want to come, in fact, they are very interested to come on board so that it will expand their economy into those markets that they have never explored before, which is the Muslim market.
And also the other question that I was about to ask just now was the standards. When we talk about standards, we're talking about a global standard. Is there such thing as a global standard? And there's no such thing as a global standard, because when I was in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, even when it comes to Islamic finance, it was a bit the challenge was to find a global standard for Islamic finance. But when it comes to halal products and halal services, is there a global standard? And if there's no global standard, who is setting the standards right now?
We aspire to have a global standard for halal, but I think it's a journey to get there. It's about creating the togetherness among the communities. And we, to a certain extent, I would like to think that Malaysia is driving some of these halal practices and standards. Even if it's not an international standard as of now, definitely it's being used as a reference by other countries to move into the halal platform.
And the other question is that, because previously when we talk about halal products, right, it's very domestic driven. It's very local in that sense. And I think today HDC has also signed an agreement, a smart partnership program with the DEC, Malaysian Design Development Centre, to look at the branding and also maybe the packaging of these halal products to go abroad. Maybe you can also just briefly,
Okay, I think in HDC we have a program, the Halal Business Transformation Program, that nurture our local companies to embrace the halal practices. And one of the elements, there are a lot of gaps in moving our products outside the country. And one of them is actually packaging, and we are working with DIDAC, MARA, to assist our companies that we are nurturing to improve their packaging, and that would help them to then create a brand that is halal and be able to then bring their products and have access to the international market. And that also, we have a program under HDC to assist them to do that. So we are equipping them with the right tools and to equip themselves so that they can bring their products out of the country. In terms of halal branding, I suppose, if you already have the halal certification, you will want to think that your product is a halal brand. But there's no one brand in the world to say that this is a halal brand for the world. Hopefully, we will be able to create one out of Malaysia, and that will be something that you can be proud of out of Malaysia.
And also, I think moving forward, because I think we're looking at a huge global business, right? When we talk about the kosher in the food industry, it's a huge business in America. You've got electrical appliances, you've got food, you've got things that would be compliant with the kosher restrictions or regulations. Would halal products be aspired to be like that, or does it have its own path and that it wants to go down to? How do you look at it?
I would like to think that we would like to have our own, create our own journey to become known for halal in the world. Not just for Malaysia, but I suppose for the Muslim community. But certainly, the practices, we're embracing the global practices in terms of manufacturing, even for logistic for that matter, But at the same time, there are those Islamic practices that we would like to be adopted, so that business who embrace, who move into the halal economy, have a similar understanding about how to bring their products to the Muslim market. At the end, it's not just the Muslim market that we're talking about, but the rest of the world to accept the halal as our lifestyle.
And the interesting thing is that you're building on something which already has existed, with best practices everywhere. So you're just adding on the halal component and the Islamic requirements to it, right?
Yes, yes. I don't think that is difficult. It's just about understanding what they are, bring it into your business processes or into your manufacturing processes, and inshallah, moving forward, then we will be able to claim our product to be halal. Of course, we have our certification processes to give you the assurance to the consumers that your products are halal.
Thank you very much, and we'll look forward to the Halal week starting tomorrow, and also the issues or the key points to be discussed at the conference tomorrow. And that was tadi Nurhariti Jalil, Naib Presiden Operasi HDC, membincangkan tentang Minggu Halal Dunia akan bermula esok di KLCC, dan kita akan berhenti berehat seketika, kembali selepas ini.